In Benin City, where compounds are always alive with noise, arguments, and the occasional generator that sounds like it's fighting for survival, there stood a building that had only one reputation: fear. And the owner of that building was a man called Pa Ojo. Now, if you have never met a street landlord before, then you have not met Pa Ojo. This man did not smile at all. He did not even greet, and even his footsteps sounded like warning messages. And so, every tenant in that compound lived by one simple rule: avoid Pa Ojo and your life will be easier. One evening, one tenant shouted, "Ah, NEPA has taken the light again." Before the complaint could even finish flying, Pa Ojo's voice dropped from upstairs like thunder. "Is it me that remove it? If you like, don't go and bring your own electricity." Immediately, there was silence. Even the generator that was already choking paused for a second like it respected him. Meanwhile, children in that compound had their own survival system. Once they saw Pa Ojo entering the gate, they would scatter like birds escaping danger. "Landlord is coming, landlord is coming," one child would announce loudly, and just like that, game over. A whole football match would disappear in seconds. Even adults feared him. Not small fear, oh, real fear. That kind of fear that makes you greet twice, just in case the first greeting did not enter well. There was Mama Sade, who sold akara in front of the compound. One morning, she mistakenly placed her frying stand near the gate. Pa Ojo came out, looked at it, looked at her, and said, "Madam, remove this thing before I remove you from this compound." Mama Sade carried everything immediately, even burning her hands in the process, but she still did not complain because in that compound, pain was better than Pa Ojo's second instruction, and that was how life continued. Everybody complained about him behind his back, but when he passed, smiles were arranged like uniforms. One afternoon, a tenant sat down like a woman who was about to read news and said, "I don't even understand Pa Ojo. It's like someone stole his joy at night." Another neighbor added, "I think something is wrong with him. Or maybe he was born angry," the third neighbor concluded. And they all laughed because laughing at him from a distance felt safe. Meanwhile, in that same compound, a new tenant arrived. Her name was Efe. Now, Efe was not like others. She was bold, sharp, and her mouth, let's just say it did not come with filter. On her second day, she met Pa Ojo face to face at the corridor. He looked at her, she looked at him. There was a long silence, like both of them were trying to read each other's past. "Good morning," Efe said confidently. No response came. Pa Ojo just stared like someone measuring trouble. Efe frowned. "Okay, good morning again," she repeated. Still nothing. She shook her head and muttered as she walked away. This one, to respond to greeting, is doing him like debt. But unfortunately, Pa Ojo heard it. That evening, his voice called from the veranda. "Hello, new tenant, Hayes." Efe turned slowly. "Yes?" "Who were you talking to this morning?" Efe crossed her arms. "To you now, or is there another landlord hiding inside your body?" The compound went silent. Even the generator reduced its noise like it wanted to witness the argument properly. Pa Ojo stepped closer. "You don't talk to me like that in my compound." Efe didn't move. And you don't ignore greeting like that to people. Tension rose. Pure tension. Meanwhile, other tenants were watching from windows like it was a live show nobody wanted to miss. Pa Ojo's voice dropped. Then he smiled dangerously. "If you want to stay here, respect yourself." Efe smiled back. "I respect people that respect themselves." Ah! That sentence entered the compound like fresh gossip. Within minutes, it had been repeated at least 10 times. And so, from that day, the compound had two strong forces: Pa Ojo and Efe. One Monday morning, Pa Ojo shouted in the corridor because someone wasted water. Efe came out immediately. "Is the water your family member?" There was silence. Nobody expected that response. Another day, Pa Ojo complained about noise. Efe increased her own volume deliberately. If you don't like sound, move to your village. Tenants were now confused, scared, but secretly entertained because for the first time, somebody was speaking back. If it will get us all evicted one day, oh, Mama Sade whispered. But even Mama Sade was watching closely because drama had entered the compound. But something strange was happening. Pa Ojo did not send Efe away. He shouted though, argued and warned, but he did not remove her. Meanwhile, people started noticing something. Pa Ojo was watching Efe differently, not with anger but with something behind it, heavier and unspoken. One night, everything changed. Rain started falling heavily, the kind of rain that floods gutter and carries sleepers like passengers. The lights went off, of course, because in Nigeria, rain and darkness are from the same village. The compound became very quiet. Even the goats were asleep. Then suddenly, there was a loud scream from Pa Ojo's house. Then another strangling sound. Ife stood up immediately. What was that? She walked straight to Pa Ojo's door and knocked hard. Oga landlord, Oga landlord, open this door. But no response came. She pushed the wooden door open. Inside, Pa Ojo was on the floor, struggling, breathing like someone fighting invisible weights. If he rushed forward, Oga landlord, can you hear me? His eyes were open halfway, like he was struggling to stay awake. Meanwhile, neighbors gathered outside, but nobody entered. Everybody was just watching. Nobody was moving. Efe shouted, call the ambulance. Nobody moved. I said, call somebody. She yelled again. Finally, someone ran outside. Efe held him carefully, and for the first time, Pa Ojo looked small, not strong, not frightening, just human. At the hospital, the truth came out. Pa Ojo had a heart condition and stress had been building for years, but he never spoke about it. The doctor spoke calmly. He lives alone, right? If he nodded, the doctor continued. People like him don't talk. They carry everything until the body reacts. If he didn't answer, she just looked down. For once, her words were gone. That night, as she returned to the compound, she sat outside quietly. Meanwhile, tenants whispered again, but this time not with confidence. 3 days later, Pa Ojo returned. He looked different and more quiet as he stepped inside. Everybody watched. Even children stopped playing. Efe saw him, walked forward. They stood face to face again, but this time not with anger. Efe spoke first. Good morning, Oga landlord. Pa Ojo looked at her for a long time. Then slowly he nodded, morning, and walked inside. Silence followed. It wasn't that heavy kind of silence. It was the awkward silence of change. Efe didn't smile. She didn't push further. She just studied him like someone seeing a different version of a familiar picture. Behind them, tenants had gathered again, like people approaching a story that we are not sure had ended. Mama Sade whispered, is this Pa Ojo we are seeing like this? Nobody answered her because even they didn't know. Later that day, after Pa Ojo had rested, he called for a brief meeting with the tenants. He stood under the tree, cleared his throat, then, in a voice that didn't carry anger for once, he said, Efe. She looked up. I owe you something, he said. Efe blinked. Me? He nodded. That night, if you didn't enter my room, I don't think I will be standing here today. Efe shifted in her chair. I didn't do anything special. Anyone would have. No, he cut in. They didn't. That line settled because everyone knew it was true. Pa Ojo turned towards the rest of the tenants. His eyes moved across the faces that used to fear him. I heard everything you people used to say, he said. A few tenants looked away immediately. He continued, slower now. And I understand it. That alone made someone cough nervously. Then he did something nobody expected. He lowered his head and said, I am sorry. The compound didn't react at first. Even the goats outside seemed confused whether to continue making noise or stop completely. If he didn't speak, she just watched him. Pa Ojo exhaled. I thought fear was the only way to survive in this place, he said. But I see now. I only built a house where nobody could breathe. There was a long pause. Then he looked at Efe again. And you were the first person who refused to be afraid of me. Efe tilted her head. I wasn't trying to disrespect you. I know, he replied quickly. That is why it worked. That line almost made her laugh, but she didn't. Instead, she said, so, what now? Ojo looked around the compound. For the first time, he didn't look like a landlord. He looked like a man standing inside something he had damaged. I will change things, he said. There was a silence again, but this one felt different. Mama Sade finally muttered, so fear is finished like that? Efe heard her and turned to her. Fear doesn't finish, she said. People just stop feeding it. Ojo looked at her when she said that, and for the first time, he smiled. Then he turned towards the tenant and said something simple. This compound will no longer run on fear. It will run on respect, even if I'm still learning it. Nobody clapped or shouted. Immediately, one child picked up the football, and this time, he didn't run inside when Pa Ojo stared at him, because for the first time in that compound, Pa Ojo was no longer someone to fear. He was someone still learning how to live with others. Thank you for watching this story. Kindly tell me your thoughts and lessons in the comment section. Do well to like and share with your loved ones. Don't forget, every life is a diary. See you in the next story.